Nick, we're here. We're back.
Are we officially back? Are we officially in this?
We were always in this, and we are officially back. Apologies for the time delay, by the way. My mic just stopped working. Unclear why. Look.
Yeah, mic issues, right? Maybe that's the title of this episode because it's a little double entendre. You see what I did there, Mike? You and Mike. I just found out, by the way, as we started this stream, we're not live on Twitter because we have to have a premium account. Thanks a lot, Musk. We can't go live on Twitter. That's fine. We're going live to everybody on YouTube. Thank you for your patience this summer. As you know, the football team, the basketball team, they took an off season. So why can't we take an off season too? Well, they get an off season. Have they played a game since we last did a podcast?
There's been more news this off season. Like, we've missed so many things, and I'm upset. I'm upset with you because we haven't recorded. There's been so much. I don't even want to, like, the teams have been going. Bill Self, out for blood.
The teams have been going. What does that even mean, by the way? The teams have been
going.
They
sleep, we scoop.
Listen, the scoops are your game. That's your racket. I stay out of it.
How much do you hate that?
I don't hate it at all. Like, it's just you. But I do think if they get an off season, like, we didn't miss any games, did we? Did either one of these teams play a game since we last?
The most important game of them all, roster management. What have we been doing? Nick, let's air the grievances. I wanted to podcast.
The grievances? I don't have any. So really, this is just a cathartic experience for you. So go ahead. Take the floor.
You have no grievances? Okay.
No, I don't have any complaints.
We haven't podcast. That's a big grievance. My main one. But there are others. Like, number 2, you came to Los Angeles, didn't see me, didn't tell me, told me yesterday. Number 3, you're engaged. What's up with that?
Was already engaged last year. Pretty much all of last season I was engaged. So that didn't change. I came to Los Angeles. Yeah, I did. I got a house. So I bought a house and I bought a dog. That, honestly, the dog was just last week. That was also why I was in Los Angeles. I flew to LA, picked it up from a rescue, and drove 16 hours back to Denver. So that is why I didn't come and see you. You know, you think about it like, hey, you were in town. Why didn't you stop by? I was in town. You mean the second biggest city in America? Yeah, I was in town along with 15 million other people. And it's not like you fly into LA. It's like, oh, just come over to my house. It's 10 minutes away. I flew into Burbank. You live in Santa Monica. Why don't you tell the people your address really quick, so just for context?
Manhattan, Kansas. The Little Apple.
So that's why I didn't see you. But I bought a house, so I've been spending most of my free time that I would have otherwise been spending with the podcast. You know, hard watering my lawn, making sure the weeds are killed, picking mushrooms, like trying to make sure
hard watering your. Yeah. This is bigger than your lawn. Okay? This is bigger than your dog that you rescued. The fact, like, I don't care. You coming to LA to rescue a dog and drive it back is not an excuse not to see me. I'm actually more mad.
You're more mad? Like, okay. Well, clearly you have more grievances than I do. I feel good. I needed to recharge the batteries. I needed to reset and get refocused for what I believe is going to be a magical fall.
Are we better than ever? We might be. We're going to
get to that. We're going to get to that because we are, as of this recording, 15 days away from the return of Kansas football. KU football, I mean, talk about a marquee matchup. Kansas, Lindenwood, in one of the most storied grounds in college football history. Children's Mercy Park, a soccer stadium in Kansas City, Kansas. So this has all the makings of being an epic beginning to an epic football season for the fighting Kansas Jayhawks. I don't know if that, like, the 2 weeks away thing Like that's always exciting every single year. I feel like I think about college football all the time, but then there will be like some random guy on Twitter who will say, this is the last week without college football for the next 4 months. And when that happens, the vibes hit. I'm like, oh, it's here. I always think about college football as being like, it's coming. It's on the horizon. We are nearly upon it, my friend.
Isn't, I mean, it's the best when it's close, but I'm like, everything is good right now. You know, like we got the vibes. We're top 25 here at the Jayhawks. So yes, it's the best time of the year. It's a great time to podcast. We are here and the Jayhawks are here. I've been waiting. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what we live for. I feel like we were most in our element last year during football season.
Yeah, we definitely were because it was uncharted territory for most people, at least in the past 15 years of having like real expectations and feeling like this team is not going to pull the rug out from under you. So yeah, it's different. And that's honestly, it's part of the reason why I really do like taking, and by the way, in all sincerity, appreciate all the messages that we've been getting from so many of you about like, when are we going to do a podcast again? Like, when are we coming back? Mike's making a face as I'm trying to be sincere. So I know he's just going to shit on whatever I'm about to do.
My grievances stand.
I appreciate those messages. I like coming in hot though, 2 weeks prior to the start of the season. My takes, my vibes have not been watered down with 2 to 3 months of like sort of slowly building them and rolling them out to you on this platform. Instead, I get to come just firing cheese across the plate for the next hour plus, however long we stay on.
So it's just you've been edging. This is an edging situation. And you've just been waiting to blast all of us. I take back most of my grievances. Most. I'm happy to be doing this. I do get it too, where it's like, look, let's be real. We've got substance now. We've got too much to talk about. Also, what's your dog name?
Abby.
That's not Lance.
It's a girl. It's a girl. You know, I was actually getting into this debate with someone the other day that like most names can go both ways. Like there are only a handful that really, like you think Chris is a men's name. Well, there are women named Chris. Like Lance is one of those names that really only goes one way.
I mean, like, I just changed that. If you're listening, we're live on YouTube. Oh, you're upset because I'm laughing. All right, fine.
No. I'm upset because this is how every episode goes. By the way, we're going to show you how the sausage is made. We're not even 10 minutes in, and then we're going to get into the actual episode. I promise you. I will say things with purpose to Mike, and I will say them. I'll remind him multiple times. Like my fiance, like asking me, like, "Are you going to call that electrician today?" Like, "Hey, Mike, don't bring this up on the air. Don't say it."
You're not gonna call the electrician.
I will. She's just got to remind me like one more time.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna do it.
All right.
You're gonna do it. You're busy.
Headline.
Okay. All right.
Headline.
Let's do it.
Dream season 2.0.
Question mark?
Exclamation point. Exclamation point. Exclamation point.
All right.
And you have ripped me in the past for not making good headlines.
Yeah, that's a good take.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Let's go. Dream season 2.0. We're here. It is truly, we are in the new era.
I mean, dude, coming in at 22 in the polls, and this is kind of where I want to start this is perfect timing. This is perfect timing because right as we begin this thing, before we even get into like what this episode is going to be about, we have another guest. We have a guest joining us, the one and only Jayhawk Talk.
Hey,
Jayhawk
Kevin
Talk.
what's up? Long
What's up,
time no
dude?
chat. How are you?
We're just
Fantastic.
fired up. Dream season, the vibe status, it's vibey.
Hey,
Oh,
Kevin.
Dream season?
Yes, Dream
2.0.
Season 2.0. 2.0.
Love it. I'm so excited to see you guys.
Hey, will you tilt your camera down so we can see more of that beautiful face?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Did I do it right?
Oh, that's perfect.
Look
Great.
at
John,
that.
we're gonna get into it. Oh yeah, you look good.
That.
Okay, Kevin, you're just in time because I was just.
We're
getting ready
starting
to-
the episode.
Yeah, well,
Hey.
we've been
Do the thing.
been BSing. So what we wanted to talk about in this episode, as we do kind of like a season preview, is what things about this Kansas football season excite us? What things about this Kansas football season terrify us? Or if not terrify, maybe scare you just a little bit. You know, you clench up just a little, some nervous excitement, if you will.
Oh, we're
So
pumped.
Mike, why don't you start us off? What excites you the most for the 2024-25 Kansas football season?
Well, like the difference between excitement and anxiety, like we're talking two sides of the same coin here. All right. But I feel like we have a real football team with star power. That's do we want to go star power?
It's
Sure.
We have
your-
real
It's
have-
your question.
real star power. Jalen Daniels, Devin Neal, at like the most important positions. Kobe Bryant,
I was just going to
Kobe
say
Bryant.
Kobe.
good
You know,
receivers.
Yeah, because you had those guys last year, but because of what you were coming off of, right? You're coming off of a 6-win season. It was last year was sort of like, can you prove it's real? Can they prove that this is not a flash in the pan, that this is going to
Right.
go away? Like, because as KU fans, I feel like we're preconditioned to believe that the other shoe's always about to drop. What's about to happen? And albeit, like, I know we're going to get into Jalen's health. That's a big part of it. But you had all those guys prove that, yes, they are the real deal. They are stars, legitimate stars at their position, legitimately top 5, top 10 players at their position in college football. We are not used to that ever at Kansas. Like best years, you maybe get one of those guys, two of those guys. Like the Orange Bowl team had Reesing and Aqib Talib, right? And then there were some dudes, some really nice players.
There were some dudes on that.
But these
team.
guys
There
are
were
bona
dudes.
fide top
that team.
10 players. Top 10 players at their position. Like legit all-American candidates at 3 different spots.
Why not Heisman candidates?
Oh.
Okay, how about
All right.
this? How about
We're
this?
gonna
I have a
do-
question for you guys. I know what your initial response, so I want you to think about this. More likely to be a Heisman candidate, a finalist. Let's just say a finalist. Jalen Daniels, Devin Neal.
Daniels. Like not close.
Not close?
Not close. They're not going to give it to a running back. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen.
No, I'm not saying win it. I'm saying be a finalist.
Okay, a finalist, it's still going to be a quarterback. There's going to be to get to there, you have to put up as a running back the most idiotic numbers ever. Like the
Yes.
like most like insanely idiotic numbers to get there.
I feel like
It would have to be
the reason why
Forcing
I
himself
think
to
it's
break records. Like they would be forcing touchdowns down his throat by like trying to make
Is it on? It's this conference. Even having this conversation is new territory. Just like, is it the quarterback or the running back? That's pretty fucking cool.
No, it's the quarterback because he was a Heisman on the short list.
Yeah,
but
Sort of
Kevin,
true.
okay, I'm not even saying I disagree with you. I think generally my answer would probably be Jalen Daniels, but the way I think about it is one of those guys is going to play a full season. I feel confident, or much more confident than the other one. So with Jalen, it's like not just have the great season, but stay healthy for an entire year. Never seen that. I have never seen that. I have seen Devin Neal play for a full season and look like one of the best running backs in the conference for a full season. So if I'm just starting there, and if I think KU is going to be really good, I still think they're going to run it a ton and run it efficiently. I agree. It would have to be a stupid statistical season. Like,
Stupid.
I don't know, in
Remember the last
12
one?
games.
You want to know the
What do
last
you
one
have
who won the
for-
Heisman? I know you said Canada, but any guesses the last Heisman running back was?
Was it Derrick Henry?
It was Derrick Henry. Good call.
Oh,
Well, I knew I knew Henry and Ingram were like in quick succession.
And before that, Reggie Bush.
yeah. All right.
RIP.
So
Well, when's the last time there was a
Probably not
running
Devin.
back finalist?
Because
I know- 'cause you know Because the criteria is just going to be on a top 10 team in the country and be the best running back. Like, to be a running back, you have to be unequivocally the best running back in the country.
unequivocally, like not close. This is what I'm saying. Or put up the dumbest numbers you could possibly put up, like idiotic numbers.
Can we entertain it for a second? What would the numbers have to look like? What kind of a statistical season would Devin Neal have to have?
I can't have this conversation.
Are we still talking about Devin Neal's a Heisman candidate right now? Are we still doing that?
No. It's true though. Highshaw, Bryce on YouTube watching says Highshaw will get short yardage carries.
I think that's right.
I mean, Highshaw
If he's
is,
right,
like,
when he's right,
really good, guys. Yeah.
he should be that guy. I think
think he's
Neal's
a
actually a
pretty damn
pretty
good
good
back.
short yardage back too.
Yeah.
though. He doesn't get maybe the credit there that he deserves on that. Highshaw is just such a beast that you like to think that he's the guy. Here's the thing about short yardage backs. I've always been. This is like a refrigerator Perry thing. Like, it was like, you just give it to the big guy. The big guy will push. That's not always true, because sometimes you have to be fast to get to the spot and then be the good short yardage back. You have to be able to accelerate through and get there faster. So I'm just saying, like, handing it to the big guy doesn't always mean that you're going to get the yard. It's
2008 Kansas Jayhawks in College Station, Jaworski Lane, stuffed. I think Highshaw is better than we realize.
I love Highshaw.
Didn't he dislocate his hip?
Something bad happened.
That's what I'm saying. If he's right, that's why I said at the beginning. If he's right, I'd love to see him right, because that dude is.
I think
electric.
Yeah, I think his talent is really, it's up there. Like, back to the star power. Apparently, playing online as Kansas in the new CFB video game is like considered like cheating or like cheating. Like, because of Devin Neal, though. Apparently, Neal is like unstoppable in this game. I saw someone random tweet, I'd rather play like against Alabama than Kansas in this CFB game. Dude, that's the season we're coming into.
Devin Neal has like all the little special attributes that you get. So like, he accelerates out of a juke move. It's insane. And if that is any indication of how this season's going to go, bell cow running back. There will be no carries left over for Daniel Highshaw.
Well, so this would also require, by the way, a very good threat at quarterback. And it would also require a offensive line that is retooled and strong.
Yeah.
All of these things all have to come together at the same time. And then again, they have to stop letting Daniel score touchdowns and give them all to Devin Neal. Like, that would be what is required here.
I want to get into like them.
Yeah.
These expectations are wild.
Okay.
So
I
want to talk about it.
Yeah, because when we started this and like talking about what our biggest fears are and what we're most excited about, I can't decide, and maybe through a good conversation here, I can come to a conclusion. I can't decide whether or not like all this preseason hype and the expectations, like, I can't decide whether to be excited or to be fearful of them, because I'm just not used to them. Like, being ranked 22nd in the preseason poll is awesome. But KU went as high as 19 in the AP poll the last 2 years. What's different now is that when you start the season at 22, I don't think there is a single Kansas fan or person watching or listening to this that would be satisfied if KU finished the season at 22. Like they're preseason ranked 22, and the expectation is that you have to build on that. You have to be better than that. And I think I'm in that camp. Like 22, great. Finish the season at 14.
You got to win 8 games to finish 22nd. Let's just call it. I mean, that's probably right. You guys agree with that?
Yeah. Where'd they finish last year? 23rd, I think. And they won 9 games.
Won 9. So let's just call it 8 to be like 8 or 9 to finish 22nd. The over-under is what, 8.5?
Yeah.
So like you are setting expectations higher than what Vegas does in that if that's where your head, if that's where you think every KU fan's head's at, I question that a little bit. I think finishing ranked would actually be pretty good.
But they finished ranked last year. I don't want to have the same season
as
last year.
What if you finished ranked twice in a row?
Okay. Ooh. Okay. This is where I think we're going to disagree because having enough of these conversations with Mike, the problem is I don't want to just look at the Vegas odds and look at the preseason ranking and say, yep, I'll be happy with that. It's the preseason. I'm allowed to get excited. I'm allowed to get over my skis a little bit and raise the expectations. Well, if we're 23rd, why couldn't we be top 15? Why couldn't we be in the playoff hunt? I'm not just going to be satisfied with whatever the prognosticators think KU is going to do this year. I want them to beat the expectations. I want them to surpass them. I feel like that's normal fan behavior.
Is it fair to say, and this is where I'm at, I would like them to compete for the Big 12 title long enough that it's interesting late. Like if we're somewhere in the conversation when we get to the, say, 2/3 through the season, I'm in a pretty good spot as a KU. I think you cannot get upset about that. If they don't make it, does that mean it's a failure of a season? Hell no. That seems like a pretty good season if they're able to get over 8.5 wins. I don't care how they get there.
I agree with Meg. And it's this expectation talk, and we haven't even said the word. There's a word that gets thrown around. And it makes me like kind of want to like just pee my pants a little bit, maybe like
playoffs.
Drip. It's playoffs. It's like
that was a guess.
Chris Kleiman like pee pant maybe situation.
Oh man,
it's playoffs. Like I think a lot of students or fans on Twitter have seen like the kind of joke or talk, and there's this expectation that's like, oh, if the bar cannot be playoffs. That's just it. It's KU has never gone to a bowl game 3 years in a row, right? I believe that's correct.
I think it has to be correct.
Like that is how unprecedented this is, and I think the momentum of this program is so important in the continued building of fan support that we need to like all be a little bit rational. And I know it's not being a fan. I know that's like the opposite of generally what we do, but it scares me. The expectation genuinely, I am so reasonable. These most reasonable person I know. These expectations are scary. It's if people get let down because this team wins 9 games.
No, that's not fair. I'm not allowing a letdown at 9 games. I'm sorry. That's not.
I'm not allowing you a letdown at 8 games.
I think that's right.
Look from where we came from. Zoom out, brother.
Nick's like, okay. 8 games. What a disaster.
No, you guys getting hot. I'm starting to get hot. I'm starting to get bothered now because, guys, what are you guys so afraid of? This is a philosophical question about life. Why are you guys so afraid of setting goals and trying to achieve them? Like aim higher, reach for more. Just looking at what's set in front of you and saying, this is good. That's not what being a sports fan is about. It's about looking at this roster.
For the Big 12 title. That is as much of a stretch goal as you can get for a Kansas Jayhawks. I'm sorry. Like,
look at this. Like this Bad Hombre says we're losing so many starters after this year. This is the year. Listen, as someone who's in year 6 of his dynasty on College Football 25 with Kansas, next season's going to be rough. I mean, you're hitting the reset button at virtually every major position. This is the last year with this core, with all these stars that we just talked about. And if you're just telling me like, no, just take what's in front of you, like 8 wins, 9 wins, be happy with it, that's fine. Hey, the offseason, postseason, when we get to February, that's when we can look back on the year and be like, wow, what a great run. What a great year. Right now, though, with the season in front of us, this is the time to say, no, what's best case scenario? What can this team accomplish?
Talking about best case scenario.
Hold on. No. I want to answer. Hold on. I want to answer Nick's question of what are we afraid of? Okay. Because, and we can get into the upside too, but what are we afraid of? The stakes have never been higher for Kansas football, for college athletics, okay? KU has half a stadium right now, or will have half a stadium after this year. If people are underwhelmed and aren't continuing to build support because of 8 or even 7 wins, even though it's the first time in program history they've gone to 3 straight bowl games, we are setting ourselves up for more long-term struggles. And this is like, I'm not going back to where we came from. All right. So you've got to keep building momentum and being realistic as we do it, because I want to see the rest of that stadium finished. I want to make sure KU gets in a conference that can have enough money to pay NIL for football and basketball. Like this, truly fan support, showing up in continuing to build and show progress as a program has never been more important. It would be embarrassing if they have an 8-win team not getting fan support. Like, it's just critical right now.
Those aren't the same things. Those aren't the same things. Having high expectations and then refusing to support.
Together.
No, it's not. It's not. Having expectations for a team, like just because you want a stadium to be built and you want consistent progress, doesn't mean that you can't look at the reality of this is a upperclassman laden team with a lot of really highly talented players in a season where you no longer have the 2 big bad wolves in the Big 12. You're avoiding 2 of the best teams in the Big 12 on your schedule. This is the year to aim high, because I promise you this, we ain't going to be talking about 9 wins next season. We're just not. With a new quarterback, with a new everything, we're not going to be talking about this. So if not now, then tell me honestly.
But you asked what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of losing momentum after a good year because we set ourselves up for failure.
That is pixie dust, though. Like, saying that fans aren't going to support the team that goes out and wins 8 games is insane to me. Fans aren't going to stop showing up. It's not going to happen. It's not going to, like, let go
fans
of your
barely
fears.
Show up as it is.
Let go of your fears and get excited about Dream Season 2.0. This isn't like, a small dream, little dream. No, dream. Dream. Yeah. You've got Heisman candidates. You've got legitimate stars. Come on.
I think you're misreading what we're saying. Like, I am 100% all in on this season. And I think it's okay to say that 9 wins is a successful season. It is a successful season if we win 9 games this year.
I agree.
There's no way around that. And if people, I think what Mike is saying is that if for some reason, somehow we've set expectations at playoffs and we don't succeed, or we take 3rd in the Big 12 and people are like, nah, down year. Like, what are we talking about? This is the craziest thing I've ever heard. So like, that's the thing I think he's talking about. Now, Nick, let's talk about range of outcomes. Does this team have the capability to be a playoff team? I think it does. Like, I think it's not the craziest thing I've ever heard. It's Dream Season 2.0. Like, you can buy me into that. You can buy, I could buy into that stock. Like, I'm in there. I'm in. So like, I don't think you want to, what I'm trying to do though, I think, and I think a lot of KU fans are going to do, just a little tiny bit of skepticism because we've all seen things. We've all seen movies. We've seen these things before. I remember after the Orange Bowl season. I remember that season. The next season after that. I mean, you remember we had a quarterback for one more year who was going to be great. I've been there. I've seen this. But I think it's different this time. And I'm willing to dream with you, Nick. I'm willing to dream.
It's scary.
I just think you guys are hedging your bets a little bit.
Hell yeah. How can you not? How can you possibly not?
Because here's why.
You're going all in.
True fandom. True fandom. The real fans know what I'm talking about here. And I see a lot of them in the chat. Ones. The real fans, they surrender to their fears. And they say, you know what? I don't care if I get hurt. I'm not going to let the fear of what if get in the way of what I know is in front of us, which is an insanely successful season where you can compete for a playoff berth, where you can win 10 games. So I can sit here and say, I expect this team to win 10 games and still have the fortitude after the season to say they won 8. It was still a great year. It just wasn't what I was hoping for.
That's good. I think that's fine. I'm not going to let you shift the Overton window so far that people are going to end up being not willing or capable to do what you just said you'd be able to do.
I'm concerned about a playoff or bust attitude.
Correct.
Which cannot happen. It just cannot. We got to keep building. You got to keep building. And the scariest part of it all, this is a bit of a shift for this year. The scariest part is Jalen Daniels back.
You're right. That's it. Right? That's it. That's everything. It's everything. It's everything.
What's behind Jalen is a beefy, beautiful former walk-on quarterback in a true freshman. So if you want to get into things that scare us, whatever. If we want to get into
is that your biggest fear for the season, Jalen's health?
Yes.
More not big picture, because big picture, it's that we have a good season and then people are still let down. But once we look at the team, it's Jalen's health.
Yeah, it's so odd now because I wonder, like, having these conversations last year, because Jalen's health was an issue before last season. And even though we weren't super confident in Jason Bean, which became like the focal point of the year, is like, hey, is this guy good enough? Like, can he get it done? But yet, looking back on it, it's like, what a luxury you had in a backup quarterback who could not just like play at a high level, but like get you like some serious wins, and like was a part of the most instrumental season for Kansas football in 15 years. And now that's just gone. And if we have like similar outcomes with Jalen's health this year, I have no earthly idea what is waiting behind him. Could be awesome. Hey, could be sick, but also could be an absolute disaster.
Is Jason Bean like one of the 5 most important KU football players of the last 20 years?
Sure.
We'll say 20 years.
I'll allow that for 20
Okay,
years.
Mac, where would you rank Bean in terms of like importance to the program if you're including like all the Orange Bowl guys and all the guys in the late 2000s?
Yeah, I think he's right there. I mean, obviously, go Reesing. You go down the list from there. You obviously start there. Where do you go second? Like, I can make an argument right there for Jason Bean.
Yeah.
I think, you'd be arguing like Jason Bean versus like Aqib Talib or Kerry Meyer.
Kerry Meyer.
Perry. You could say like McClinton was good. He was like low key, pretty freaking important. Devin Neal, pretty freaking important.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I think he's definitely in that conversation. It's not even close, right?
It might be Jason Bean. Bill Whittemore.
Because that's the thing.
Don't sleep on Bill.
What's KU's record last year if Bean either well, I can't ask if he sucks, but like if Bean wasn't there and it was Cole Ballard instead of Jason Bean all season,
Who knows?
they're not going to a bowl game.
I don't know. You know, hard to predict exactly, but not as good.
Some love for Briscoe, some love for Chris Harris. I love Jason Bean. My love for that man, like, we went to Jalen's health. It's terrifying, and it's just a Jason Bean like love fest. That dude was gonna not play football. He just was gonna be done. Now he's out there scoring touchdowns for the Colts. Also, his first drive he fumbled. Then they came and he just threw a touchdown pass for the Colts. It's like
I thought he was playing in like the UFL or something.
No, he was the number 1 pick in the UFL draft, but he's playing with the Colts right now. And he also led them in rushing. 24 yards.
He's very fast.
What are we
I just want
setting
Jason
the
Bean back.
What are we setting the over under on for Jalen Daniels starts?
That's terrifying. I mean, like, if you're forcing a number, 7.5.
It was 3 last year. It was 9 the year before.
I was going to say 8.
Okay. We're pretty close then.
Like, they're not going to, I'm sure they're going to be careful. He's not going to run as much, but it's just, we haven't seen it.
Got to stay healthy.
I mean, it's scary.
It's one of those things where it's like, got to stay
terrifying.
healthy. It's not like he has sustained some just horrendous hits over the years that have kept him sidelined. It's always like, wait, he's injured? Wait, what happened? So that's the tough part. It's like, stay healthy. How? Like, you can't, wrap him in bubble wrap all year. Like, I don't know what you do.
Backpack. Whatever was in that backpack, do not let him take that backpack onto the field. Whatever was in there.
What was the rumor that Bryson started that he injured it filming a Frosted Flakes commercial?
People really believe that all year.
My dad told me that. Literally, my dad was like, "Did you hear how he got hurt?" I'm like, "Oh my God. No,
dude." By the way,
it's actually awesome.
My dad will text me stuff about KU2, and he'll listen to this at some point. But he'll text me stuff like, "Have you heard this?" And I'm always wondering where he's getting it from. He's like, "Have you heard that Lance is going to Michigan State?" You hear that? And I was like, feel like I would have heard that had it been the case. So I love that I'm not a lone mech and like having to explain things
those
to
Topeka circles can get a little gnarly. Topeka dad circles are especially of a certain age. You just never know where they're getting that info.
What do we know about Zeke Marshall? I know he's my starting quarterback in year 2 of my dynasty.
Oh, there you go.
I love this take though. Zeke Marshall is going to be quarterback 2 by week 7 or 8. Like 7 or 8 is pretty late in the season. I would hope if he's that dude, can we bump that up to like week 2 maybe?
One thing that stands out to me is that they didn't go out and add another quarterback at the end of in the late portal period. They could have tried, and I didn't get much of a sense of even trying. So that tells me that there's some level, at least they're not panicked, right? Like they would have, we would know if a quarterback got added here at the end, or Mikey Pauley. Nebraska transfer. No one knows who Mikey Pauley is. All right, you'll know at the end of the year. You'll know
who Mikey Pauley is.
Will you tell us? Can you give us like a
Can
quick one sheet on him?
Mikey Pauley?
He's a quarterback. He transferred from Nebraska.
Oh.
He's from Kansas City. May or may not.
Oh,
that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember Mech and I actually went to one of his games back when I was still living in the area.
We did.
Where'd
you
he go?
saw him play?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. Dual threat.
We were the only two with a sign. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
All right. So,
we filmed all his
beyond Mikey Pauley. I mean, it seems like Zeke Marshall, Jesus. Bryson would say he's a gamer.
So was Jalen Daniels.
Yeah.
You
For
need
sure.
gamers.
When, like one of the things that I understood about last year was that the confidence in the huddle, in the calm in the huddle that Jalen would give the team compared to some of those bean moments where things went off the rails, like made a huge difference. Though I am an expert only on Mikey Polly.
But you live by the bean train, you die by the bean train. So
Yeah.
and we lived.
So
we lived last year.
yeah. I don't. It's just I mean, like, do you believe Jalen is healthy? Like, what is the current take? Everyone right now in the room, give a percentage on his health.
Of confidence, like,
where would you say if he's like, if a doctor, not a doctor, but like, is he 100%? Is he like 90%? Is he okay? Is Jalen Daniels okay?
That's such a low bar, but I'm not even comfortable saying yes. Hey, look who decided to join us.
Whole gang's here.
What's up, guys? Is Furphy coming back?
We've got the other Kevin Tehan, joining us. You're a little late. We can't rehash everything. So I'm going to open the floor to you because we've been talking about things we're excited for and things that we're afraid of. And as you probably heard, we're currently on Jalen Daniels' health. And we've been going, and it's a little scary. So we need you to pick us up right here. What are you most excited for this Kansas football season?
Jalen Daniels' health.
Being healthy.
He looks so strong. He looks good. He's jacked.
Oh, I just heard
You
like
can't be hurt.
90% there.
You can't be hurt if you're jacked like that.
Okay. I think we just heard a pretty high number.
Do we want jacked quarterbacks though?
Oh,
no,
did you see Cole Ballard last year?
It's
That
kind
guy's
of
like,
beefy.
I know Anthony Richardson works, right? But he's like 6'5".
it's kind of like you're either built that way or you're not. Like Bryson DeChambeau, like, bro, like not so much. Like lighten it up a little and you're a better golfer because he just wasn't built that way. Cam Newton, more built that way. I just like, do you have the frame or not? Is really what I'm getting at. I don't want some guy who just shows up jacked and he's not. He shouldn't be jacked.
You think Jalen Daniels? You think he's built like that?
I want him to be. I want him to be like. Well, is Patrick Mahomes jacked?
No.
No, you don't have to be jacked. You have to be wily.
Why are we talking? Are we scared or excited for Jalen?
You have to be excited.
Terrified.
I think there's such a fine line between terror and excitement in my brain. So I'm like teetering that edge, but I've got 1 foot in each pool, and I don't think I can ever firmly get, no matter what. That's the problem with Jalen. No matter what, like if he's the best quarterback in the country by a mile for the first month and a half of the season, and KU's 6-0, and he's putting up ridiculous numbers, having a career year, I'm still going to be afraid. Yes. I'm going to be afraid that we're going to wake up to a Tuesday report that Jalen Daniels isn't practicing, and they saw him walking around in a brace at practice. Like that fear is always going to exist, no matter what.
I don't know how it can't. What have we seen that allows you to feel like that is not in a high likely range of outcomes?
We've been hurt.
It's scary.
It's hard to love again.
But we're going to.
It happens every time.
I wanted to talk about something else that I'm excited about that we haven't really touched on. New look Big 12. Ooh. Brand new Big 12.
Ooh, good answer. It's like Family Feud. Good answer.
Granted, like you don't get to see Utah, which I think is going to be one of the more exciting teams just because they're on paper the best team and KU won't play them. That's okay. I'm okay with avoiding them, but I'm just excited to see this like perfect storm of brand new Big 12, no more Texas and Oklahoma, and it happens to take place in a year where Kansas is supposed to be good. And that kind of leads to my lofty expectations for the year of just like, we don't know how good this conference is going to be. We think we do. Like, we'll talk about the new teams that you're adding and the depth, et cetera, but I'm just excited to see how this shakes out because I feel like Kansas could end up being as good as any team in this conference.
Hence the playoff talk. I feel like that's half the reason for like the expectations being what they are. The new look Big 12. No Oklahoma.
Is Kansas playing Utah?
No. The schedule is
schedule's
like, all right, let's just call it what it is. It's an easy schedule, right?
This is where you have me with Dream Season 2.0 because it feels just a little bit like the old season. Like when you look at the schedule, like you just kind of see a little bit of the good news. Like Lindenwood, so it makes me feel good.
Well, because there's always haves and have-nots, and like no matter how good Kansas has been in recent years, when you're facing when you're facing Texas, it's like, okay, well, your best version of yourself is not good enough to beat them. There's no more of that. No matter how good Utah is, no matter how good Oklahoma State is, no matter how good K-State is, I find it hard to believe that I couldn't get to a point where I would say, oh yeah, like Kansas can beat them.
I mean, there are 5 top 25 Big 12 teams, including Kansas. You know how many KU plays?
2.
Play K-State. Play Oklahoma State?
No.
No, we don't play Oklahoma State. We play K-State.
So just one.
One, yeah.
It's Kansas State.
Just K-State.
At K-State. You're right.
It's K-State. Right. Yeah. Like, the schedule, it is exciting. However, it does create the expectations even bigger, something we've never had to deal with. There are trap games all over the place. Like, you're going to be we can lose as a favorite. Yeah, it's trappy. Trappy
No,
schedule.
we do the trapping. We do the trapping now.
Oh,
that should be this. Does KU have like an official slogan for the season?
It's not going to be we do the trapping now. I'll tell you that right
no, it's so good.
Kevin?
It's so good.
Don't rule it out.
Why
Kevin
not?
does it that way.
For years, KU's been like it. You got to go to Lawrence. There's no one in the stadium. TCU, it's going to be close. We do the trapping now. We'll win one of those every 3 years.
You don't even go to Lawrence anymore. It's the ultimate trap.
That's true.
We're sending them 45 minutes away.
That's true.
Does that?
Yes.
I don't know. Like, we do the trapping. Like West Virginia, Arizona State. These are kind of trappy games here. We can't overlook. We're saying it's easy, and it's like, well, we would have been thrilled to beat them 3 years ago. BYU.
The problem with the trap game talk
at Illinois.
What?
They're
just all
the games.
All trap games.
Maybe that's the slogan. Every game is a trap game.
Trap game.
They're all trap.
You know, there is some second-rate coach in America, probably many of them, who are saying that to their team all year. Every game, hey, every game's trap game, boys. Not Lance. Lance is saying we do the trapping now.
We do the trap. I do like that. Well, we can pick the vibes up. I don't know. The easy schedule is kind of scary.
No, it's not.
I mean, what a spin!
Where we differ.
What an insane spin!
It's lovely. It's beautiful. Like the more you look at the schedule, you're like,
Iowa State and Arrowhead. Scary.
Yeah.
There will be a lot of Iowa State fans there.
All right. So, are we excited or scared that this season, the dream season, the easiest schedule, has 0 home games? No true home games.
Scared.
Meh.
Unmoved.
I hate the idea.
Go ahead.
I mean, there's no avoiding it, so it's not like I'm mad that they're doing this. I get it. I do hate that the most highly anticipated season of the last 15 years is going to be played at a 4,000 seat soccer stadium and an 80,000 seat NFL stadium.
I'm kind of hyped for it.
I mean, of course you are, Mr. Johnson County over there.
I'm kind of hyped for this.
Joko,
How cool is it going to be to see KU play at Sporting?
I worry about the environments. Like, and maybe I'll be proven wrong. Like, maybe they'll end up being sick. I think the Sporting games have a better chance. The Arrowhead games specifically, the Arrowhead games scare me more.
Yeah,
I think the Sporting game's going to be rocking.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I agree. But the Arrowhead games, it's like 80,000 seats. How many people are you actually putting in there? Like, I don't think there will be any atmosphere.
Do you remember those games though? I remember going to that KU Missouri game at Arrowhead.
That's different because I went to a KU Oklahoma game at Arrowhead, and I
remember that one. I was there too.
It was very different. It was very different.
But I was there too. The point is, if we're good late, that place will be packed. It will have all the momentum, all the home crowd you want. If we're good late, if it matters late, that place it'll be razzed.
They're gonna have to move it to a bigger stadium. Even bigger.
1,000,000-seat Arrowhead?
Oh yes.
Okay,
what if we get that Colorado game, like the next to last game, our last quote home game, and we're still in the Big 12 running. Like, you can't tell me that won't be absolutely bonkers at Arrowhead.
So, quick context.
To go to the Big 12 championship. What do you
first two games? Lindenwood and UNLV are at Children's Mercy. And then you've got TCU, Houston, Iowa State, Colorado at Arrowhead. Yeah, Iowa State's the only one I'm really worried about.
Yeah, I mean,
Iowa State
it could literally be 50-50.
Yeah, no, Iowa State's one thing that could help is like, okay, it's not spring break where all of the Ames will come.
Dude,
I think a lot they're gonna okay. Well, the night before
coming.
KU plays North Carolina in basketball in Lawrence, there will be a lot of alumni in town for that weekend. I think, like that's one that you're gonna circle. So that'll help bring 5,000 people who can afford it, but it's a big stadium. So like now I'm backtracking and scared again.
Do you have the date? You have the date for that? Just
November 9th.
That's
you're gonna jot that down.
November 9th is the game.
Let me reach out to my guy.
Football game.
I might be there.
You got a guy, Roy?
You got a guy?
I've already said too much, but stay tuned. The day of reckoning is coming.
Yeah, it's just gonna be weird. It's just gonna be weird having all these, like, just not having a true home game.
Papa John's reference.
No, I picked up on the reference. All right. Look, Iowa State game is tough. Like the ceiling is really high for what those games could be. Again, like Kevin said, if maybe they're playing for the Big 12 to go to the Big 12 championship, would Arrowhead be sold out? Is there a chance KU could sell out Arrowhead if KU is planning to go to the Big 12 championship against Colorado November 23rd? Oh, shit. And basketball plays oh, no, that's the next week. Okay. Arrowhead sold out? No.
I think that's a tough ask. You're talking 80,000.
That's a lot of people.
No.
It's a lot of people.
But it'd be rocking.
I want it to be a thing.
It would have to be whatever scenario you could play out in your head of, like, best case. It would have to be that. Well, like, KU would have to be unbeaten.
What if KU's undefeated? Game. Okay, yeah. What if KU's undefeated?
The game. That's the one that was absolutely sold out. When both teams came to it, like I'll say this. Think about it, Mike. I'm just going to ask you this question. If KU is undefeated and we're playing Colorado at that point, are you getting on a plane and getting to Kansas City for that game? Are you
I would
finding
like
a way
to.
there?
Here's the thing.
I know what I would do.
to.
No matter where I am in the universe, I would want to be in the stadium. And I think there's a lot of people who
finish
feel
the
that
home
way
season.
for something like that. It is the dream season. That's why I went to the Orange Bowls. Like, I have no business driving to Miami, but I did because it was like once in a lifetime. This could be it. I have to be there. I think a lot of people would feel like that. I think it'd be full.
I agree. The only reason I hesitated is because I was like, well, trying to go earlier that month for Iowa State. But like, yeah, if dream season is happening, I will do everything. I'm going to be there.
I think a lot of people feel that way. If it's real, it has to be real. If there's a real chance.
Real dream season.
2.0.
Playoff. Would a playoff game be sold out at Arrowhead?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
KU wins 9 games or 8 games, whatever, and then wins the Big 12.
Has to be more.
Say in that scenario. No, but if they win somehow they sneak into the Big 12 title game, whatever. They lose to Illinois, and that's one of those losses. Playoff game, Arrowhead. It's selling out, right? We're doing it again. Scary. I gotta stop. This is wrong. This is everything I believe against. Not doing it. What do you guys, real quick here? Speaking of I just wanted a pro or anti, go around the room. Daily stadium picks popping up on Twitter. Daily stadium renovation picks.
I mean,
Sure.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I'm sure as
What
well.
else do we have?
I will say I had to defend KU's new stadium against an Arizona and a Colorado fan last week. Like, I showed them the pictures they released of like the renderings in the video game. And all they said was, what are those sticks? What are those sticks popping up out of the side of the stadium? I go, they're lights, assholes. And
Ever heard of them?
They're like, yeah. They're like, that doesn't look that cool. And that kind of
I think
crushed
they're
me
gonna-
a little bit, because when you build a new stadium, stadiums are one of those things where like even fans of other programs or teams can be like, oh, that's a sick stadium. Like I see SoFi Stadium, I'm like, that's dope.
I'm okay with a little weird, like something that stands out. Otherwise, it's generic stadium. Like
100%.
you need something that's like, oh shit, love it or hate it. That KU stadium's a little different. Like that's
It is.
want something like
Guess
that.
what? Guess
Long
what?
term,
They
it's
can't
better.
afford to build SoFi. Okay, they just can't. It's just really expensive in this economy. We got to put wheat lights up, and that's okay.
These lights are going to be bigger, I think, than people realize. That's been one of my like realizations, that it's not like, oh, we'll make the lights cool. It is like a true design feature.
Yeah.
And I've been talking to people. They're going to be big. I think it's going to give it more presence, and like over time, it's going to be good. Like, it's good. New, it'll be different. Oh, Andy, do we have scoops? Colored lights.
Well, of course you can have cool colored lights. Come on.
Oh,
I mean, Mike, you're acting like a colored light bulb is this like cutting edge technology that no stadium has ever.
These are brand new
tried
lights.
before.
if you're listening, there was a comment that said, wait until you see the colored lights. I'm fired up, all right? I want shining gold glittering off this stadium, showing the wheat. And Sam comments that it's magnificent in person, especially when the sun glistens off the lights.
Ooh,
I have been edged.
like a wheat.
I'm excited to see it. They're going to be
Million light booth. Million bulb.
Million bulb booth. Yeah. I
Million
like
bulb booth.
that.
It's so good.
I like that.
It's so good. All right. Pro picks. Here's something I'm scared about every offseason and every year. What if we're too good and then we lose Lance?
Again?
Oh, come on.
Will that ever go away? Is there ever a
Can we not
scenario-
talk about our fears? No.
So you're just
He's
telling
gonna
me
be like
I have
82
to.
years old, and we're gonna be like, you think he's gonna take the Michigan State job?
Yeah, like when can I relax about Lance?
I think you can right now. Like now is the time to relax. Last season, I was not relaxed. Although
lighting
Scoops
issues.
fan himself keeps saying how vital it is to make sure we've got all the people in the stands and all the all this stuff. And I get the feeling sometimes that he's saying these things because he thinks Lance feels that way.
I don't say things. These are educated opinions about, like, I try to figure out what's important to the people in charge at KU, and to the people that are going to help make KU successful. And I think fan support is part of it. And I do think he cares about that. I think he pays attention.
Well, he heard as much last year. I mean, remember people are calling Lance out.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait,
I mean,
who was calling Lance out?
Well, Lance called the fans out in a kind of passing blow, and a lot of people did not like that.
Okay,
I can't remember the context, but Mike, I remember getting on a Spaces and yelling about it. I can't remember. That's all I got.
He's just a motivator. He's just trying to motivate people to.
He cares.
To show up.
He cares.
I think it matters. I think it matters.
I remember what I was yelling about. I remember because you had said something to the effect of, "We need to listen to him or he's leaving," and I pushed back on that and said, "He's not leaving," and then he didn't leave.
Mike, I do feel like
left.
And I hope you're okay with me saying this.
He almost left.
I feel like you have a tendency to be a bit of a doomsday prepper when it comes to this stuff, like just preparing for the absolute worst. And
no, I invented the dream season.
That's a KU football thing, though, Nick. How can you not? For God's sake,
the stakes are so high. The stakes are high.
The theme of the episode has kind of been like, hey, manage your expectations. We just need to keep building. Like, just have a nice little season. You know, like, you don't really need to win the Big 12. You don't really. No, that's exact. This is verbatim. I wrote it down.
You said, what are you so scared of? I told you what I'm scared of.
But, you know, just don't prep for the worst. Like, you can't live life. You can't be a college football fan just always expecting, like, oh, unless we do this guy's gonna leave again.
Expectations for KU football are a new thing for people, though, Nick. You can't just assume that we're all just gonna turn off the last 20 years in our brains. You can't. Like, I don't know how you can. I don't know how
you have to at some point. Like, if you're ever gonna love
again,
the
way that you do that,
if you're ever gonna love again, you have to let your guard down and be okay with getting hurt.
You continue to do well, and by the way, is an 8 or 9 win season. That's pretty good. It is okay to win 9 games. It's okay. That would be good.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Kevin. It is okay. Right?
You know,
it's okay. I'm not aiming for. Okay.
Is this our best chance? Here's a question. Is this our best chance over the next 10 years to go to the college football playoff? Just say it right now.
Yes.
Everyone just say yes. Right? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Just I mean, know what you know now, and then
possibly, probably.
So, Nick, I'm with you on that piece. Like, I know the stakes are high, that this is our chance. This could be the chance for us to do that. Like, I'm with you on that. Like, that is the point that I'm actually right there. I'm right there with you. But I'm also not going to be willing to say it's a disappointment if we don't hit max expectation, if we don't hit the stretch of the stretch goal. I'm willing to allow for that in my brain. It sounds like some people aren't, and I don't think that's right.
Kevin, well, we're at the talent easy schedule equilibrium right now. I don't know when it's going to happen.
Terrifying. It's terrifying.
Senior talent, kind of a really awesome schedule.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it's national title or bust for Kansas football this year.
But that's what's so funny. Like, they'll do this in the NBA or in the NFL when, like, somebody gets like a super team and they're one of the best teams all year, and then the next day, ESPN 7 a.m. Hey, is the team that went 15-1 and lost the Super Bowl, was their season a failure? And they'll debate it for like 20 minutes and be like, well, yeah, they failed to win the Super Bowl, so their season is a failure. I don't think Kansas's season would be a failure if they fall short of my expectations. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I have expectations. I have hopes for them. If they fall short of them, we can have that conversation later.
Those are two different things, expectations and hopes. Like, just makes like I'm right there with you on hopes.
Not in my brain. Not in my heart. In my heart,
You
they're
want
the
to get
same
tattoo?
thing.
Undefeated tattoo?
Yes.
You in? Who's in?
Undefeated?
absolutely.
Undefeated tattoo. Are you kidding me?
Does that
I'm getting it right here.
Yeah, I'll go
Right here.
neck.
Same thought. Same thought. Kind of doing the
Fuck.
J.R. Smith location, except no dollar bill.
Does that include the
Record.
playoff?
Yeah, we got to wait till it's all
Are
regular
you saying
season.
like
I still do it.
championship or regular season?
I would get a tattoo for an undefeated regular season. Like, there's just no question.
Get a first
you
round
ki-
playoff exit.
Are you, I'll have to get the tattoo before the loss.
Okay, there's two.
No,
There's
you
two
gotta do it
options.
after.
There's two options. Okay, and there's no other options. It's either a neck tattoo. We can decide on what it's going to look like later, or you tattoo a football jersey. You got the shoulder stripes, whole thing. Commit.
I think I would rather do the neck tat.
Well, son.
I think so too. If I could get it under the collar, maybe. Yeah.
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 But I do think, I will say this on the whole idea of losing Lance. Excited, I guess, to see what this offense is going to look like without Andy Kotelnicki.
Oh, you're excited?
Excited is the word?
I think so. I think
We
so.
upgraded.
Because I don't know that we upgraded, but I will maintain that Lance Leipold was winning D3 natties long before Coach K ever came into the picture. And I refuse to minimize like his ability as a head coach to just be like, oh yeah, it was all him. It was all Coach K. Like, no, Lance Leipold's the dude. I assume whoever's going to come in, it's going to look different, but hey, what if it's sick? What if it's better? You guys saw that bowl game, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Wide receivers happy.
I'll say
running free,
yeah, so-
baby.
the wide receivers did not like Andy Kotelnicki. I'm very confident in saying that. We could have, I think, had some transfer out. Maybe that's because, you've got Jared Casey getting like 8 targets a game and Lawrence Arnold getting 3. Who knows?
Hey, don't you
like-
say bad words about Jared Casey.
No, I do think that it was frustrating actually, I know it was frustrating for the wide receiver group. And they did go off in that UNLV game. And Grimes, the new OC, has been a part of some really Baylor having really strong seasons, which is kind of the blueprint. And it sounds like he's adjusted to what KU's done this year, or what KU's offense has been. So I guess I get it. I'm glad that there's maybe a different voice in the room. But the offense was pretty sick.
I really like the wide receiver core. Like it's not the fastest group. It's not the most shifty group, but I think all three kind of complement each other in different ways. And I think
No, they're good.
I mean,
It's a good group.
Arnold's going to be open a lot. Skinner's going to give you the long plays. I think Grimm has what would you say Grimm's best skill set is?
I feel like he's just like a possession receiver.
He's just open, huh?
Prime Cole Beasley.
No, Prime Anquan Bolden. Let's go cross-racial comparisons only.
If they had a son,
Who's good? Who is most likely to lead the team in yards and catches and scores?
Jared
Arnold.
Casey.
no,
I think I think it's going to be LJ Arnold across the board with all 3 categories. Though Skinner has been known to be a touchdown machine. So,
I think Arnold had the most touchdowns last year.
but was
Arnold,
it
it's Arnold.
but when Jalen Daniels was healthy the year before, am I misremembering this, or didn't he have a really good rapport with Skinner?
Skinner was getting the deep balls with Bean.
Oh, okay. I have it flipped.
I'm pretty sure because me and Bryson were
I
all
miss Jason
Skinner
Bean.
on long TDs.
Hey, Bad Hombre asked, Do we want Andy Koldenicki to have success at Penn State?
Sure.
I don't think I really
build
care.
the Lance tree. I'm always been a fan of building the coach trees.
I'm with that. I think it'll recruit good talent in the long run. Or, once we have a great year and Lance leaves, then Andy comes right back
Maybe
home.
comes back.
And then all the receivers leave.
The receivers all transfer. They ain't giving me
Every
none left.
single
anyway.
one of them.
Okay, I got another one for you.
Brent Dearman, show up.
Over under 22 touchdowns for Devin Neal.
Under.
Feels like a lot of tutties. I don't know.
Any guesses what he had last year? Don't look.
I know it was in the teens.
17.
I'm gonna
18.
16.
Yeah, I was.
Highshaw had 8.
16?
Highshaw had 8. Neal had 16. I'm
going 20.
up.
I'm going
You like
20.
I'd still say under. Wouldn't a Highshaw, in theory, if he's healthy, get more? I think Highshaw's got serious potential. I'm really, again, pretty adamant here about this. If healthy.
If healthy.
That's the big one. And then they've got the new running back, but I'm blanking right now.
Harry Stewart.
There's a good-looking – thank you. Yes, good-looking freshman. Yeah.
Thompson?
Bet you didn't think I was going to be the one to come to your
Harry
rescue,
Stewart.
did you, Mike?
Nope. You've been offline all summer, so that's Harry Stewart.
Yeah, but I've been online. I've been online on my dynasty, and in year 2, Harry Stewart leading rusher in the Big 12. So
how is your defense and your dynasty team? We haven't talked much about defense. Defense will be too.
Yeah,
Kobe.
I'm employing the same. I'm employing the same philosophy with football as I am with Kansas basketball this year, which is I don't care about defense anymore. I don't care. Don't talk to me about rim protection. Don't talk to me about run defense. Don't talk to me about controlling the line of scrimmage. Don't talk to me about forcing turnovers. Just
red zone
buckets and touchdowns. That is all I care about with both these teams.
Defense, scary. And really, I'm thinking about this now because I've been it's scary. And I've been kind of scared all episode. And all the things we're excited about, I'm even scared about. The team should be good. It's terrifying. Jalen Daniels, star power.
But that's
scary.
just it. That's just it.
Games. Easy schedule. Scary.
Yes, there have been more fears than there have been things to be excited about. But I'm excited about our fears. I'm excited that we get to be normal college football fans. Because as a Chiefs fan, Mac, you can attest to this.
Preach.
As a Chiefs fan last year, it was not fun at any point. At no point were we having a good time during the season. And then you get to the end of the year and you go, holy shit, we just won the Super Bowl. We're the best team in football. That is what being a fan of football teams where every loss means something, unlike basketball. That is what it's like to be a fan of a football team with real expectations. Go to an SEC, go to Georgia, go to Alabama, go to Texas. They live and die with every single thing that happens. You are constantly afraid. You are constantly fearful that somebody made a mistake or that this guy is not good enough. But that's the point. This is the sad but yet glorious reality of being a football fan of a team that is actually worth a shit, which is that you're just afraid of everything. And then hopefully at the end you get a couple of minutes of satisfaction when your team accomplishes their goals.
That's where we are. We made it. I'm all the way back around. I'm excited for the fears. You're absolutely right. This is awesome. There are real stakes here. There's half a stadium. There's half a new stadium. Arizona fans wondering what the hell's going on in Lawrence. I love it. I mean, this is...
How can you not be excited?
All right, let's close with this then. I want to go around the horn and I want everybody to answer. It will be a good season if. It will be a bad season if. Mike, why don't you start?
It will be a good season. Well, I liked what Kevin said earlier. All right. It will be a good season if KU is competing for the conference championship in November. That's what I want. That's a lot of good things coming with it. We're playing for real stakes playoff spot in November. Bad season, we miss a bowl game. That's the bad season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Who
I have it.
go?
If they win in Manhattan,
Yeah, that's where I was going.
that's a great season.
Because
And maybe they let a couple slip away, whatever. Hopefully not, God willing. But I mean, if they go win in Manhattan, it's a good season. Get that freaking monkey off your back.
That really is the last monkey that they need to, the last demon they need to exercise from like the previous era of Kansas football. Once you have that, it's like, okay, you took care of all the embarrassing statistics that have been haunting you.
No, that scares me. Lose the chip. I'm just kidding. I'll totally handle it very maturely when and if that day comes.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. This is one thing I know about the Scoops, man. Very mature when it comes to K-State.
Mature online.
Which is
Mature
funny
online.
because when we get on this podcast, Mike tries to paint himself as the reasonable one, as the one with perspective. And then the second Ema enters the picture, he just becomes like the lowest form.
Got to pay the troll toll.
There's just a
Right
blinking red. I have a blinking red button the whole day that just says easy agitated K-State fan. It's like, all right, well, it's just too easy. Twitter's stupid. I am mature, reasoned, and it's on them, really. It's on the K-State fans.
That's true.
Did the
Mac,
coach pee his pants? I don't know.
Mac, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I said it earlier. I just want to compete for a title. That's it. I mean, if they are doing that and that Colorado game at the end when we're in Arrowhead means something, not means something for setting expectations or means something to maybe get into a better bowl, like means something, that would be so much fun. It's the way I feel about like the Royals this year. Like, get me to September and make me care about baseball at the end, and I'm going to be so excited. It's the same thing here. Just make me care so much about the outcome. Like you said, Nick, earlier, you live and die on one 3-hour block that entire week. The one time, right? You get lots of chances in basketball. You do not in football. It will matter so much. Like if we got that, just that feeling late would be so much fun. We've been there before. I mean, you remember in 2007 the way that it felt. I know a lot of people weren't alive then, who were very small then, or forgotten how it felt. But I remember every single thing about the way you felt about it, like how much it mattered. I could not care less about basketball until that season was over. And that's where I want to be. I want to be in November caring more about football than basketball. Maybe that's the answer.
I agree. That is a cool basketball. Like it's almost like a defiant feeling getting to that point where basketball season's revving up and you're just like, nope, don't have time. Because as KU fans, it's always like, when does basketball season start? And like being able to be a part of the rest of the college football fan base to just say like, no, we're good here for another month or two. Like it's a cool feeling that we haven't had very much. My answer, by the way, is because I don't think anything else that I could come up with would be possible unless this thing happens. It's a good season if Jalen Daniels is healthy. It's a bad season if he's not. Because no matter what the answer is in terms of wins, in terms of competing for the Big 12, I don't think none of that stuff can happen if Jalen's on the sideline. And that, to me, would be the most painful thing to like end this era of KU football, would be if we have to sit here forever and be like, well, I wonder how good they could have been. if Jalen could have stayed
No.
healthy.
We
Like
had the
ending
last-
his career with another injury-plagued season would just haunt me forever.
Yeah.
Scary.
That's the scary part.
Now I'm back on scary. I was all the way around.
Don't worry.
If-
It's not even week 0. Don't worry. We got plenty of time to almost
Right.
worry. It's going to be okay.
Jayhawk talk. If they are competing in November, lose to Colorado, don't make the Big 12 title game, is still a good season?
I mean, yeah.
You laid that out. Okay. All right. What's a bad season, though? What's your bad season?
I think
Both Kevin's.
I think winning 6 games or less is a bad season.
All
For
right. I like that.
expectation setting. If they get 7, I think that's the line for me.
That makes sense. I like it.
That's very reasonable.
It won't feel good.
It's
Reason
reasonable.
will prevail.
I mean, we got to know who we are or who we've been recently, but it's a bad season if you lose in Manhattan. That's my season. I'm ready.
Dude, they're gonna clip this and
Dude,
they're gonna
so
post
wild.
that, and then I'm gonna have to fight them online.
I'm
It's
just
so
some guy.
wild if that's
Flip
the
it.
only
I'm just the
loss, if
economy
that's
guy.
KU's only loss this year, but you have to stick to your guns and be like, nope, bad season.
Yeah, I will. I will. I'll just be like, I'll be like, listen, I'm only going to be on for about 2-3 minutes. I'm signing off for the rest of the year. Bad season, fun season, guys.
Season's long.
KU's playing Georgia in the semifinal to go to the playoff. He's already won 2 games, and you're like, yeah, no.
It's
Season's over,
halftime.
guys.
It's
Pack
halftime.
it up.
It's like 14-all at halftime, and you guys are like texting. I'm like, I'm not watching it. Yeah, I kind of tuned out after they lost in Manhattan. I'm pissed, man. I've got a
Avery
head coach hot list.
How's Coach Nicky doing?
Well, yeah, what about this Kotel Nakai guy? He's a foreign coach. Let's bring him in.
Mac, you and I, we would have a spicy podcast episode after the season if they go 7 wins and you are forced to defend that being a good season.
I didn't say good season. I said
No,
is it a
I'm just
bad
saying.
season?
I'm just saying if
I
that's
didn't
the
say as
bar.
good as good. Good is 8 or more to me.
You said it.
Good is 8 or more. You said
7 is neutral.
7
Yeah,
is
you'll just have to be
neutral.
defending. It's not bad.
7
Typical
is neutral.
politician. I can't keep track of where the bar is for you. I
There's
thought you said
two numbers
6 would be
here.
bad.
6 or less bad, 7 neutral, 8 good.
7, a neutral season.
And
Yes.
that's what it would be, though. You'd go, eh. Now, here's the one caveat to that.
You can't. This isn't a Mazda Miata, dude. You can't put it in neutral.
Here's the caveat. What if James does get hurt? And then expectations, I think, are a little different. So you can't. It's all qualified by that. Like, so if Daniels gets hurt in freaking UNLV game, and we don't see him again, you'd probably be pretty happy with 7 wins. Maybe 8 would be great. It's all like right now. If you're telling me Daniels is healthy all season, maybe we start there. Use that as your assumption.
No.
All season, then 8 games is my minimum happy. I need higher than that. I need like 9, 10. Like, let's start talking playoffs because that's where I get everything's built in with that governor right now. The like pricing in the will Daniels be healthy thing.
The governor?
A governor like a limited
Like Gavin Newsom?
No, goddamn. Like
You're talking about pricing in. Are you trying to come from my economy guy tag?
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
All right.
They don't like my governor or my pricing in. Jesus Christ.
Auto first round.
Gotta get 8. Gotta get 8.
If he's healthy all
16
season, what's your number?
For expectations,
Yes.
double digits.
Yeah, I think it's 9.
You
for me.
couldn't see my other thumb.
I just maintain that if he's healthy, he's gonna be one of the top 2 quarterbacks, like him and Cam Rising, in the Big 12. And if you have a team with one of the best quarterbacks in the conference, I expect you to be like an elite team. I expect you to win on this schedule, in this economy.
In this economy?
10 wins.
My adrenaline's pumping just thinking about him being healthy all year, double-digit wins.
Can you imagine?
Sleep. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight.
No, I
I'm
can't.
gonna be terrified. I can't see your phone, Kevin. What's
Oh,
it
wait.
showing?
Over 8.5. I'm in.
Is that a ticket?
I've
Yeah.
already been in for a while. I'm in.
Just
Over
whatever you're gonna do, double it. I'm good for it. Lock it in right now.
I've been very in. 8.5.
Get in more.
Always
I love
have been. All right,
Fellas,
we're in. Dream
This felt
season.
good.
It begins.
This felt good. Dream season 2.0 is officially upon us. Well, actually, we got 2 more weeks. So we'll probably come back, do a little bit more game by game preview, breakdown. We'll talk more Harry Stewart, other players, any defenders not named
Mikey
Kobe
Polly.
Bryant. Yeah.
Guys,
I gotta
we just
get.
started.
I want Bryson to come on. I want Bryson to come talk about the punter battle on here.
Is that
I'm
Did
not
y'all
kidding.
talk any basketball before I came on?
No, do you want to talk about David Coit real quick? Because Nick
No,
was wrapping
well,
up.
I mean-
he hates extending.
Just the fact that it's dream seasons together. Yeah, let's get. You guys have 30, 45 more minutes?
I got a good 5.
Man, I didn't mean to do that.
So I
500.
see this. So I see this. I see this tweet, and Mike teases me all the time because he knows I don't check my email that often, and like I'm not on Twitter enough. So because you send your newsletter,
You don't check
and
your email?
You were
Oh,
talking about
yeah.
a new guard.
Yeah.
You were talking about a new guard. I asked who it was. He goes, "You go check your email." All right, and I didn't, so I wasn't going to give you the satisfaction. But I am on Twitter the next day, and I see Fran Fraschilla, who is talking about a guy named Diggy Coit, who's now a point guard for KU. And it was blah, 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 Remy Martin. And I am going to lose my damn mind if we continue to do KU signs random player. Let's call him Bobby Pettiford. And then people in the media try to compare him to former KU player. Let's call him Frank Mason. And by the way, that's a thing that actually happened. And I'm sick of I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hearing like, oh, he's got a little Frank Mason to him. Oh, he's got a little Devontae Graham to him. Like, no.
Diggy.
That is
Got
great.
a little Joe Yesufu
Let's
to him.
let
Pretty
Diggy
cool.
blossom on his own. Okay? We don't need to
Hold
invoke
on.
Remy Martin.
Hold on. You're hurting my open rate, my email open rate. You're not reading your emails?
I knew this was
Great
gonna be
rant,
a-
by the way. Great rant. But like, what, dude?
I don't read
I
any
thought we were
emails.
friends.
I don't
Nick,
really read any emails.
You don't have to read it. You don't have to
No,
read
you just
it.
open it, you click a bunch of stuff on it,
Yeah.
and then you leave the tab up for like a week. That helps Mike out.
Thank you.
If
puts
I
money in
leave
his
a tab
pocket.
open on my computer, does that make you more money?
No, but I'll take it.
I've been doing that.
Don't exit right away. Click around. Have some fun. If you're going on, yeah. Have some fun.
Can't hurt.
So,
Will
Coit,
Diggy Coit play more than 5 minutes a game this year?
yes.
No.
I think he's
Wrong.
9th or 10th guy. Here's a
The 9th or 10th
think-
guy doesn't exist in the Bill Self rotation. So
he's a
So-
third
so-
point guard. I don't expect to
Under.
see Jamari McDowell this year. Basically.
okay,
So
but
I don't
we
know.
shouldn't have
I
seen.
got-
Hey, we shouldn't have seen Jamari McDowell last year. So you know what I mean. So like, if he's
I
taking
think-
Jamari
I-
McDowell minutes, then I think that's no minutes.
well I my understanding is like I think it might be I actually don't know. I haven't watched Northern Illinois. Sounds like he's as good a pickup as you could possibly have at this time of the year.
There we
I
go.
can see him playing.
He's a
You think
great
Timberlake was playing.
break glass in case of emergency. I mean, we have that now. Did not have that last year.
No, correct. I just think clearly they felt they wanted another guy and he was worth it. Though, I guess if the scholarship limit's increasing, they can do that and not have as much of a penalty. Darren Peterson win after he takes the Ohio State visit. Diggy Coit, first of all, awesome name. And he's really little. Like, I think he's really, really little.
Yeah, if your name's Diggy,
micro.
you have to be just microscopic.
Yeah, they call him. I think he's listed at 5'11", and I'm like, I think he's shorter.
He's
But
5'5".
I hope he should. Like, this is the
Marquise
thing.
Noel.
I want him to be as small as possible.
Me too. Embrace the small. It's a normal for most people.
Right.
Well, he's a basketball player.
So for him, it's kind of a novelty.
Does it signal anything to you? Does it mean anything to you, Nick?
Diggy Coit?
Kevin. Yeah, adding
No.
a player in August.
I assume he's going to be back in the transfer portal in 9 months.
No, he doesn't have another year.
He doesn't have another year, I don't think either.
Do you know what
They
he
always
averaged
find a way.
last year?
He's old.
Did he average?
Wait, I'm not asking you, Kevin.
Oh,
Me? Yeah.
Wait, do you know? No.
What'd you say?
Does anyone know how much he averaged?
20.2 points.
Did you know that, Nick?
No, I did not know that. I didn't know anything about him.
20 points per game. I just want
Hey,
to now pull up
to
his
quote-
highlights and
To
make
quote
Nick do a-
Kevtron, what
yeah.
school was he going to? What conference did he play in?
The
I'm
Mac.
sure it was a real grind show for Diggy Coit last year, getting
But
to
he's
those
so
20
little.
points.
If you think about how little he is, it's actually really impressive.
Listen, it's
He
not.
scored
This isn't about
37
Diggy
in their
Coit.
finale.
My dismissal of Diggy Coit is more of a sign that I am supremely excited about the guys that are ahead of him on the depth chart. Okay.
In the football team.
If you can play above Diggy
Football.
Coit, you know you're going to have a squad. That's fair. That's fair. He led the conference in scoring.
Did he?
Yeah.
Hey, did Nick Timberlake lead the conference in scoring before he
I
came
was
to
just going to
Kansas?
say that.
Don't
and then I
ask
put it back
that.
in my mouth.
Don't
I
ask
said
that.
I was about to say that. But I said, nope. I'm put back
we
in.
depended on him to win tournament games. Okay, I don't think we're gonna need to depend on little Diggy Coit to win tournament games
Oh,
of
okay.
any tournament.
Okay.
Can
Great name.
Can we please call him Little Diggy Coit all year?
Little Diggy. I'm a big fan
Little
of
Diggy Coit.
Little Dicky.
If
is
there
a-
aren't Little
rapper.
Diggy signs in the student section, I'm going to be upset.
He's our little buff boy. Little Diggy Coit.
Oh no.
I'm still haunted by the Nick Timberlake tournament game line. And I think I might be haunted by Nick Timberlake for like a decade.
Yes.
Little Diggy will get you.
Okay,
Over
real final question. This is the actual final question of the episode.
Okay.
Because we talked about this
We're
in
having
April, the
fun.
last time we did a podcast. So we have to talk about it this time with 3 months having passed. Does KJ Adams start for Kansas this year?
Oh man.
Yes. Yes.
Like start ever?
Yeah, no, he's starting.
Are you serious?
For
right
sure.
now? What do you want to bet that he starts game one? I'll give you anything you want. Anything you want to bet.
Okay. Yes, he's starting game one. Nobody's even
I
going to
don't care about game one. I don't care about game one.
Okay.
Is he going to start? Are you going to say like
conference
past a certain
First
date,
conference
or are
game.
you going to say a percentage of games?
2025. Will he start a game in 2025?
February 1.
I think, well, the way I was going to think about it, but I'm happy to answer it in this scenario. But I was thinking about like end of the season, you have got your rotation locked in. There's no more experimenting. There's no more tinkering. This is your rotation. Is KJ Adams a part of the starting five? My answer is no. Is he going to start game one of conference play? That I could probably be persuaded on. But I don't think he's your starting like
Wait till he
four
starts
or
shooting
whatever.
threes too.
Mike, are you serious? You think he's going to start?
Yeah, I do. I think his minutes will go down quite a bit, but I have no like indications that wouldn't happen. I guess Ryland Griffin is the only guy I've heard that like I think they still want to see more out of, though he still can shoot it well. I think Zeke Mayo's really been looking good since they stopped needing him to play at point guard. So that's Shaquille Moore and Diggy Coit. So I'm just trying to think of who bumps KJ. Is it like It's not Flory. It's not Zach Clements. It would have to be if Ryland and Zeke are both really, 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 really good. I think he starts. I think he starts all year. I think his minutes go down, but he starts.
Agreed.
Okay.
I do too.
I'm happy to get into this. Yeah, no, I'm happy to get into this more in future episodes. My excitement level is down a little bit. I don't know how I went from like the foremost KJ defender last year to now I'm like the anti-KJ voice of this show. But if that's what I have to be, that's what I have to be. That's fine. But this is a football episode, so I don't want to get too much more into basketball. Fellas, thank you for your time. Thank you to everybody watching live on YouTube. Thank you to everyone who's listening, wherever you get your podcasts. Could Be Wrong is back. So is the Dream Season 2.0. Until next time.
It's time.
Let's go.
Dream Season.